In this video, we're going to show you how to fit these lovely side steps to your Land Rover Discovery Sport. Now, Destiny has fitted this side while I was gallivanting up to the auctions at Silverstone last week. So in this video, we're going to unbox half the kit, then we're going to turn the car around, jack it up, and Destiny is going to show us how to fit the side steps. But let's have a look what we get in the box. But remember, this is only half of the kit. So there are 2 brackets, but there are 4 brackets in the full kit. And you have to be careful because Destiny worked out some of them are obvious. What's front and rear is obvious, but what's left and right is not obvious. If you're buying the genuine kit, they will come labelled. But if you buy an aftermarket kit, they seem not to be labelling it. The main one to tell for the rear is they've got this sort of T slot on the one that goes underneath, and they've got just a slot. So these brackets actually go in with 2 bolts here into riv nuts in your sill, and there's 1 bolt that comes up here into the underside of your sill. They hang there, and the steps bolt onto these 2 front holes, and that's pretty similar for the front and rear, both very similar. So we've got the brackets. Right then, what else have we got? We've got a box of fittings, have we? We have got a box of fitting-y stuff. And what you get in here is the riv nuts. Now, this is actually cool. Destiny and I were just talking about that. The riv nuts have got a hexagonal body, and Land Rover have kindly put a hexagonal hole in the sills for us. So these just pop in. Now you can use a riv nut tool, but you can actually insert these and just put the bolts in and tighten them. You don't always need a riv nut tool. So I'm guessing, yeah, we've got 3. So you've got the 2 top and the 1 back. So you've got 3 riv nuts, and I guess we've got 3 bolts for each side as well. So that's what's going to bolt the brackets to the car. And then I guess we've got a series of bolts that come in through these holes here and go into the step. Now, one really cool thing about the Discovery Sport is that you don't need to cut your sills. We need to remove the plastic sill covers, but we don't need to do any cutting. That's right, isn't it, Destiny? Yeah. Destiny's got a cold today. She's trying not to sneeze or sniff. Right, what else have we got in here? So, one thing we like about these steps, the way Land Rover have designed them, is the fact that the so let's have a look. So the underside is all aluminium, so that's not going to rust. The brackets might rust, but the actual steps themselves. And what we saw on the old Sport and Discovery side steps was this trim was aluminium, and it was always sort of but not rusting because it's aluminium, but it would go all powdery and corrode and would look terrible. But Land Rover have changed the design to stainless, and we like that, a nice brushed stainless. So I actually quite like these steps. So let's have a look where they bolt on. So let's have a look. So I guess this bracket is going to line up somewhere with something here. And that is going to go on there. And we're going to get the bolt holes in there. I'm not quite sure why we've got...
It's empty. There's no thread in that hole.
Ah, there's no... These are threaded, are they? We've got...
Yeah. 2 threaded ones here. I'm not sure what the white thing is.
I'm not sure what the white thing is.
Either.
But that's a thing, is it? The white thing, yeah. And then obviously you've got the same deal at the front. Yep, okay. So that's where you're going to get those other bolts and washers in. Right, let's spin this beast round, jack it up, and let's start taking it apart. Right, so the first thing we need to do to remove, we've got to remove the sill, which is the bit sort of behind the doors. We've got to remove that little end cap first. There's that little screw we've coloured orange, Torx T30. Now, Land Rover instructions show a second screw coming up from underneath, but I can't see that. We've had a look. No, if you've got mud flaps, you'll have to take your mud flaps off. But there's that. Oh, where's my camera lens? There you go. There's that bolt. Right, and is it... I think it says on the Land Rover instructions you can just pull that off. I'm not sure it is docked into that trim above. Now, open the door to give you a grip and give that a pull. It takes a bit of that trim with it, does it?
Yeah.
And then is there a little dot? Oh, you're just going to leave it there, are you? But you could pull. How do you get that trim off there, or you just leave it there?
I just leave it there.
Leave it hanging.
Yeah.
Right, and then
you don't need to actually unsecure anything from around here.
No. Okay. Right. So yeah, do we even need to take it off at all? Really? Yes, because this is the bit we need to take off, and that's obvious. This bit I'm wiggling here. So right. So let's open the doors then, and then we're ready to start ripping that side trim off. So it's not the bit that's on the bottom of the door, obviously. It's the sill runs behind it here. Now, we've had this side off when we did the crash repair, so it shouldn't be too bad. But we've got the clips underneath to remove. So I wonder if they're still coloured orange from when we did them. So there, if you look up underneath, they're a two-part scrivet thing, a screw rivet. And so there's several of those up in these little holes. You can see them there. So we'll get those undone. Now, did we rip some of them out? You can have a go at doing one, Destiny.
Yeah, if I do that.
So, you have to get a bit more light on. The camera's got it. So you got the trim tool behind it to sort of, and you're going to try and get the screwdriver in it.
I mean, the screwy part doesn't really unscrew.
You end up just
I end up just
ripping them out.
Because unless you can get your finger behind it to compress the screw.
The screw, yeah, they just spins. It just spins. We did develop a little trick of doing this when we did it last time. I can't remember what our trick was.
Yeah, but you got to get your hand behind it. And then you...
Well, that seems to have come anyway. Could you get behind the trim there, where the trim meets the sill? Do you reckon you could get your trim tool in there and just lever the plastic away and just popper it off? No, it's hard on that one yet. So right, so we'll leave Destiny wrestling with these. You'll get a face full of dust off your car, and we'll come back when we're ready to pull it off. Yeah, that's got it. Right, so these are the fittings you'll get out. Ooh. So you can see it's like a two-part thing. But yeah, as Destiny says, normally either the head doesn't work, or if it does work, it just spins because these legs don't hold the thread. Right, let's get it out. Right, so there's 6 of those clips aside. I'll put Land Rover's picture on the screen. Right, so now we're ready to just pull it this way. So there's a series of popper clips on here, aren't they? And they're sort of, well, we'll have a look when we get it off. So it shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, you might want to... In from above. You could put a bit of plastic or use a plastic tool. Destiny's not messing about today. Right, you keep going along the front. I'll have a look how that's going. So yeah, there's a series of these. They've got away from the yellow and white clips. There's just these clips. Now I'll put the part number on the screen for the little black clips, and I'll put the part number on the screen for these white clips. So if you break any, but they're not coming off too bad, are they, Destiny?
No, if you can get the tool down with them, then they don't really break. If
Yeah.
You can leave her at the...
Yeah. We haven't got your microphone on today. You're not mic'd up because you're snivelly. Right, no one needs to hear that. No. Right, so now will be a good time to clear your sill. Your sill will not be this clean. It will be full of grime, as will all this here. But now we can start to see the locations that Land Rover actually kindly put in. So you will notice these bits here. This is where we're going to insert our riv nuts. And notice also they've cut out in the sill already for us. So this is really neat because they designed the car with making the accessories really easy to fit, which is really cool. I want to put some lanyard guard or something on that rust, Destiny. It's looking a bit grizzly under there, isn't it?
Yeah, bubbly.
We might just brush some on. Right, let's get the riv nuts out and take a look. I couldn't find the lanyard guard, so we're going with ACF50. Not sponsored, but apparently this stuff, a couple of you guys have written to us and said this stuff runs through God's veins, apparently. So it kills corrosion on contact. So we're just going to put some of that. Destiny's got her gloves on. And we're just going to brush some of that around there. And I'd get some on this corrosion generally that we've exposed underneath there as well. I was pointing the camera completely in the wrong place. Yeah, just put some on there. So just do a little bit while we got those seal covers off. Has it got a smell to it, that stuff, Destiny?
Oh, I've got blocked nose.
You've got blocked nose? I'll sniff it for you. No, it's fairly inert smelling. Right, we'll get that done. Right, and I'll go and grab the riv nuts. Right, so the first thing we need to do is, there's some rubber bungs in there apparently. So we need to try and get the tool in and just try and... So they're obviously to stop water getting in, I guess. We've put some ACF50, we might have to put a bit more around. Has that made it all a bit slippy?
Yeah.
Oh, right, give me that. Okay, so that's the rubber bung that you've got to get out. You can see the shape of that there. And does that then reveal a hexagonal hole? It does reveal a hexagonal hole. So now we can get the riv nuts. So we have got a riv nut tool. So these riv nuts are hexagonal, you can see there. So we've got to put that in, and then you can see inside it's got this bit with no thread, and it's going to squash up and form a captive fitting. Now, if you haven't got a riv nut tool, you can just place these in. So how easily do they place in? They just place in fine, do they? Or did you have to tap them in? No, they are a perfect fit. So one option is leave them, and then when you tighten the bolt into them later, they will actually compress up. But if you've got a riv nut tool, it makes it a bit easier. So it's probably easier to insert the riv nut onto the tool first, isn't it, Destiny, rather than in the hole. So yeah, you get a riv nut tool, you spin it onto the little mandrel.
Greasy fingers.
Right, and that's it with the thing out. And then what you've got to do is you've got to squeeze those together, then release them, and then screw it in a bit more. Right, so we got the Sealy tool on it a bit, and you will feel it go tighter. Every time you'll get a little, and all of a sudden it'll get a little bit harder, and that'll be your time. You got one more in it?
Maybe another one. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Right, and then you just spin the whole tool out there, and that's formed a captive nut that's all ready to go to. I think you can just spin the end bit out, Destiny. It should come. And then, so we're going to get on and do that, and then there's one more underneath, isn't there?
Yeah.
Is it? Why can't I see the one underneath?
It's behind.
Oh, it's behind.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll dive under there and have a look, but we'll get this one in first. Right, we've put some ACF50 on there as well and cleaned it. It's a little bit rusty, as you can see. Now, that hole didn't have a bung in it. Did you have a bung in it on the other side or not?
No.
No. So, loaded the riv nut on the riv nut.
Oh,
It's got a bit cruddy round it, hasn't it? Yeah, I'm not sure if you're in the... We may have to tap that in with a hammer. I think we may have to... Oh, no, we're in. Well done. All right, and there we go. And then you got to squeeze it together. This is guaranteed to get dust in your eyes. Right, so we've got... Oh, yeah, that's good. Right, we'll let Destiny finish that. And then obviously we've got one at the rear to do as well. But you can see we've ACF'd along there. It's not looking too bad under here. Right. So we've got all the riv nuts in. And then we're just going to position this front bracket. So the instructions say tighten them up loosely first. So if you grab a bolt, we'll put some copper grease on the bolt. Just so we can get it out. There's plenty on there. Right, so you're going to do the back one first. Let me see if I can get the next ones ready for you. Right.
Can you reach?
I can reach. I can manoeuvre myself. Right, there you go. I should make it easier for you to hold. So there's no washers, but we've got these sort of flanged nuts. And then what size socket is that? 12mm you got on there?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all quite nice, all quite nicely designed. And you can see they've even swaged the sill out there for the bracket to go in. So they designed the car with the accessories, which on the new Defender, we're not always sure they've had that in mind. Those mud flaps on the Defender are a pain in the... Now, it says not to do it too tight, and I get what they're trying to say, because they're saying put the step on. So we'll get the rear bracket on as well, and then we'll try and fit the step on. Then they're saying line it all up, get the step bolted in loosely, and then go round and tighten everything up. So we'll get the other bracket on, and then we'll come and offer the step up. So that's the second bracket on there, the rear bracket. Now, the steps, on most steps that I've fitted before, the front edge has got a more gentle slope, and the rear edge is tighter, but they've made both ends symmetrical. We've had a look, and we can't tell which is front and rear, but they're clearly different. So you just hold that up, Destiny. So you've got these series of 4 holes, and if you count from the middle of the step and go 1, 2, 3, 4, you'll notice that it's holes 2 and 4 that are threaded on the front with the little white sort of screw there. And then on the rear, you notice, counting again from the middle, 1, 2, 3, 4, that the holes threaded are holes 1 and 3. So if your white little threaded bit is in 2, that's your rear, so you can work out which is the left and right step. And if it's in hole 1, 2, 3, your white bit, that's the front. So that's what we're reckoning, but it's not clear on the instructions at all. They seem to gloss over that. And I guess the only difference it will make is if you want it more forward or rearward, you could swap your steps round. Right, so let's get that bolted in. Now, we're only bolting it in roughly because we can't bolt it in properly until we've put the sill step cover on. But I think what they're suggesting you do is you try it all fits first, and then when it's all fitted, you can tighten all these bolts up, and then you know it's good, and then you can take the sill step up. So let me just wrestle with Destiny here to get these. Oh, I might be. Right. No, I can't see what I'm doing. Have you got it, Destiny?
Yeah, you just...
If I just steady that one.
Yeah.
Yep. So those bolts have got a little. So again, we're not putting washers on here because it's coming straight off again once it's all lined up. So you got they've got 10mm threads on them. These are M6s. The other ones I think I said were M6s earlier, but they're M8s. The ones going in there are M8s. The ones going that Destiny's just fitting now. Are they looking okay? Yeah. So I think there is a little bit of wiggle room in the holes. The holes are a little bit bigger, so it's just a question of checking they all line up before we have the confidence to fit the sill. All right, the front ones are in. How's the back lining up?
Yeah, I think it's...
We got half a chance, have we? Right, just give you a shot of what it looks like from underneath. So that's the bracket there, and you can see there where we're going on to the step. We got those 2 bolts. So now it's all good. We're just going to loosen and retighten the brackets so that everything's exactly in line, and then we'll be ready to take the step off, put the sill cover on, and go from there. Destiny's doing that. One thing I wanted to show you is the steps don't stick out very much. So on some of the older cars, they stick out quite a bit so that trolley damage, so that if you're in the car park and a trolley ran into you. But on this car, you can see they're well and truly tucked in from the body line, which makes them sleek, and that's kind of cool, but it does mean you haven't got that as much side protection as they do give you on some of the others. But we'll have a look when we've got that other side fitted at how much space it gives you in terms of stepping into the car and aiding your access. Right, so the steps are all tight, the brackets are all tight. We're now going to undo the 4 bolts holding the step on, take the step off, let's get that sill cover on, and then we can do the final assembling. Right, the step's off, so this sill step we've just got to negotiate it past the... Right, so we've got to just line up those, and you've got these little alignment pegs here, so it should really get those alignment pegs in and push that on. Let me get this rear wheel arch in. There you go, that's better. Yeah, I'm looking good. You just got to give those a bit of a fierce smack, haven't you? Right, we've got the clips then to put underneath. So we'll put those little scrivets back underneath. Then we'll offer the steps up, and we'll come back and show you what it looks like with the doors open and closed. So there we go, that is the job done. That is the side steps finished and fitted. Open the rear door, so it does give you a trim. It's really nice the way the trim fits up under the sill. It gives you a really tight gap along there. They do fit really nicely, and it's going to stop a lot of spray. I mean, it will stop some spray coming up your doors. It will act as a sort of long mud flap to a degree. How much it's going to help you get in or not, I'm not entirely sure. It's going to be a bit of a help. One good thing about it being quite sleek and not stepping out is some taller people trip up as they get out of the side steps. They don't need it. But one disadvantage, as I was saying earlier, is the fact that it doesn't give you that protection from shopping trolleys so much. I mean, it might do a little bit. There you go, judge for yourself. But I think they're really nice. The aluminium, I like the aluminium. I like the stainless steel finish. We've got a few sets of these, but we'll probably stock the genuine ones, I think, of these, not the aftermarket ones. So the fitting should be the same, the instructions look the same. I'll put the link below in the description to the genuine instructions and to where they're for sale on our website, but they should be the same wherever you buy them from. So good luck with that. Well done, Destiny.